If you are here on vacation, I advise you to leave. Do people in One Piece world go on vacation? I like his sense of humor. But this made me think, how would the commercial of tourism be for the islands under the Yonkos? Maybe there would be something like this. If you want to see incredible and unique places with unbelievable creatures and things, then come to these places. You will experience death like you never had imagined. Anyway, Hawkins says to Luffy and Zoro, do you know who controls this country? Zoro says, I don't know. Zoro is smarter than he looks. Luffy says, it is Kaido, right? The funny part here isn't that Luffy did answer the question of his enemy, but that he is asking him for confirmation. It is Kaido, right? This is not some game show, Luffy. You don't get any reward. Anyway, he tries to take it back what he said by saying, I am lying. And now I'm going to take back my praise for him about improving his lying skills. Luffy did lie to Otama a couple of chapters ago. He said, I am full now, I don't need to eat anymore. Otama said to him, you are a bad liar. Well, I wish she was conscious to see this lie. Well, if she was conscious, she would probably faint again, considering how bad this lie was. This is very interesting. Luffy is a pirate who cannot lie. Maybe that should be his nickname. He should learn a thing or two from the king of the pirates, Blackbeard. Anyway, Hawkins said the probability of you being alive at the end of this month is 19%. There are two things in this sentence that are very important. Month and 19%. Since he said at the end of the month, does this mean that the Wano arc will be a very long arc and many days will pass? Even though the Dressrosa arc is the longest arc in One Piece, the whole thing was only 1 day long in the One Piece world. So this is very important because this would explain why Luffy found Zoro so fast, and at the end of the chapter the Heart Pirates did find Luffy and Zoro. So the reason why things are moving at this pace is due to this arc having multiple storylines. And the other thing was Hawkins saying you have only 19% of being alive at the end of the month. Well, Law said that our chances of defeating Kaido are 30%. So who I'm going to trust here? A guy who is riding an elk? Or a doctor? Well, logic dictates to trust a doctor, but since we still don't know what is the secret behind these cards, I will take for now his word. Sorry, Law. Luffy draws his sword and Zoro did notice that the sword is not a regular sword. He said, I am sensing an aura from this sword. Now the whole thing about Luffy and the sword was pretty funny, to the point that I am doubting if Luffy really did say that line to his enemies or the translator took some liberties. Come at me, you bastards. I hope he did say it because it is very funny, but it looks like a meme. And by the way, when Luffy is charging with the sword, he looks so goofy. This shows that he never used a sword. And to make things even more clear, he throws a sheath. Yeah, because why would you need that after the battle is over? But just look at Zoro's reaction. He lost it. Maybe this is the first time he saw someone doing that. But Zoro was wrong. Luffy knows how to use a sword. But not in a normal way, at least not for what they are made for. But come to think about this, it was very smart of Luffy because he brought a gun to a sword fight. Now he's acting more like a pirate. Anyway, the lizard tries to bite Luffy, but he grabs the lizard and throws him. And Hawkins shows his powers, so he can make a sword out of straws. So his devil fruit is paramecia. I thought based on what we have seen him do, his devil fruit was a rare Zoan type, like Sengoku's or Marco's devil fruit, but no, it is a paramecia type. Which by the way, it is very impressive the way he is using his devil fruit power. Besides creating a sword with straws, he also can create that huge creature. That creature looks amazing. That panel was epic seeing him against Luffy and Zoro. When Hawkins did kill that lizard, Luffy said, it was my fault that the lizard got killed. And he was looking sad. And this did surprise me. Why does Luffy care? So I went back to see his fight with the lizard. And if you look at the lizard's face, the lizard was having fun with Luffy. And that's why Luffy felt bad about him. In this battle, Hawkins was not the only one who did kill. Zoro did kill as well. But the difference is that Zoro did kill a human. This was interesting to see because the Straw Hats do not kill people. We know the reason why Hawkins did not die from that attack because it was explained in that fight against Kizaru. But in that fight he did not use his men to save his life. He did use random people. So this means that the people with him are not his crew. Did Kaido kill his crew? or he is keeping them as prisoners in order to make sure that Hawkins will not betray him. We did learn a lot of things in this chapter about Hawkins, except for one. What is the deal with his cards? Is this some kind of new power or they are supernatural? Either way it is, this power seems very interesting. Then the dog interferes and grabs Luffy and Zoro and starts to run. It seems that he is the only one that did remember that Otama needs medical attention. I said earlier that the way Hawkins is using his devil fruit is very impressive, but there is one thing that looks weird. When that creature was slashed by Zoro, Hawkins took the damage as well. So that creature is not his creation, but it is an extension of his body. Because otherwise, why would he take the damage as well? But the weird part here is that there is no physical connection between him and that creature. So how was Zoro's attack affecting his body as well? The only explanation here, it is his cards. He's using his devil fruit power together with the cards. Anyway, Luffy and Zoro did manage to get away from Hawkins, and the woman that Zoro did save in the previous chapter is with them. I said in the previous video that she will play a role. So she is the owner of a tea shop and she knows Otama and said that she can help her, which is great. And then we meet Okiku, and this made me laugh. Tsuru looks weird while Okiku is very beautiful. With Oda it's always one or the other, there is no middle ground. Anyway, on the last panel we see the Heart Pirates. Things are moving fast in this arc. It seems like all will get together in a very short period of time. Anyway, what did you guys think about this chapter? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, like and share if you like this video, subscribe for more One Piece videos, and see you in the next video.